think we're on.
We
I
are.
think it's amazing, this technology stuff. And, of course, I just been working on content. Will's been working on the technology side of things. Hey, welcome to the first podcast, Two Bald Guys on the right. And as you can tell, we are two bald guys.
And the glare in the studio is pretty awful, but we're hopefully going to do some different lighting at some point.
Yeah, we need to put some track lighting in here. So this show will not be about New Mexico in general. It will be about what's going on in America. Sometimes that will encompass what's going on in New Mexico. Like today, everybody was all hyped, and the governor was on fire. The governor was ready to put us all back in detention. She was on fire. Can I have the picture of the governor, Will? Can I get the picture of the governor? There she is. The governor is on fire, and we're all being put on. She was very mad, but then she called upon the Supreme Court of New Mexico, and it all changed. Do you know how many years it takes to get a decision from the Supreme Court of New Mexico? Any idea?
No, none.
I mean,
if it's a regular decision like that normally goes to the court, anything else?
It's years.
It's years.
So they came down. A court came down with a decision out of the 5th district, which is Roswell, Carlsbad, Artesia, Lovington, Hobbs. Then all of a sudden, so they put a cease and desist saying, open up all the restaurants. Let's go. Open it up. Well, indoor dining was coming at 50% capacity. And then it happened. They laid the boom on us. Supreme Court rules.
In record time.
In record time. This never happens.
We're talking about, what, 2 hours maybe?
Don't tell me the political clout of the mighty midget governor that we have. Governor Michelle Lujan, wall breaker, crotch grabber. And don't tell me that she doesn't have that type of reach. So the New Mexico Supreme Court ruled that they are going to put a stay on that order, and so the restaurants remain closed.
So just as they were open back up for 10 days, they're closed just as fast.
Now, this Thursday we'll have another hearing, and she'll have another press release, and she'll decide what is going on. It's great that we got a presidential candidate like Joe Biden. Joe Biden, I tell you what, you can't get any better than Joe Biden. So Joe Biden talking today at a Muslim voter summit, and here's what he had to say. And he basically said, I wish we taught more Islamic faith in our schools. I guess nobody told him we can't even say a prayer in school nowadays.
There's no Christianity. No. But it's okay we need to teach the Muslim faith.
So we need more of the Muslim faith.
But don't take our word for it.
No. Take Joe's. Let's go to the tape.
Let's go right to Joe.
I think it's important. I wish we taught more in our schools about the Islamic faith. I wish we talked about all the great confessional faiths. It's one of the great confessional faiths. And what people don't realize, it's one of my avocation is theology, don't realize is that we all come from the same root here in terms of our fundamental basic beliefs. And I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity, for being engaged, for committing to action this November. You're doing what's that's never been done before. You're registering and turning out 1 million Muslim voters this November. It matters. Your voice is your vote. Your vote is your voice. Muslim Americans' voices matter to our communities, to our country, but we all know that your voice hasn't always gotten recognized or represented and or the recognition it deserves. And that's your right as a citizen.
Yeah, we need more of the Muslim faith being taught in our schools. When Joe is a Catholic, and we can't even talk about catechism in public schools, but we need to speak more about the Muslims. What do you think the Muslim population of the United States is?
I don't know. Do you have the numbers?
I don't have the numbers, but I'm guessing that it's probably less than 1%.
It's pretty low down.
I think it's like they said they registered 1 million Muslims this year to vote, And I'm thinking it's probably 1 to 2 to 3% at the max. And so thank you, Joe Biden, for saying that we need to teach more about the Muslim religion and our schools when we can't even pray in our schools anymore.
There's no Christian values in school. God's been removed from everything, from separation of church and state. But we need to teach kids about Muslim faith.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what we need to do. And of course, we need to make sure that we go way beyond the scope of things that we ever thought about doing for Christianity, because, of course, we are being a bunch of pandering fools. So anti-cop mob swarms in at a Back to Blue event. These Back to Blue events are going on all across the United States. Why can't we have peaceful protests and everything's good? We're backing the police department, but in Denver, saying that you back to blue is like inciting a riot because all of a sudden punches are being thrown, bloodshed, and all kind of stuff just because you want to back the police officers. So that happened over the weekend in Denver.
And there again, backing the police is not saying that you're against black lives, yellow lives, Mexican lives, brown lives, excuse me. It's not saying that you're against any other lives or that you're for white lives. It's saying you're simply for law enforcement and for these men and women who are putting their lives on the line each and every day. It's absurd.
It is.
That anybody would think that you're saying anything other than that.
I just bought a brand new T-shirt, and my kids were really worried about me wearing that T-shirt out in public because it says Black Lives Matters, White Lives Matters, All Lives Matter. Stop the division. And I was like, why would somebody get upset with that being said? And they said, because you don't understand. If it's not Black Lives Matters, it's No Lives Matters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I was just like, well, I'm still wearing the damn T-shirt, and it is what it is. Freedom of speech goes both ways. It cuts both ways. And racism also cuts both ways. And just the saying Black Lives Matters is racist in itself.
If you say it in the sense that, if you're saying it in the sense that they're saying it, that if you say all lives matter, you're against black lives, because that's not the case. That's never been the case.
No.
So we need to stop the division.
The mesh wearing mask. This is probably one of the greatest stories I saw over the weekend. A guy goes out to the Walmart. Now, of course, Walmart is now saying that everybody that enters their store has to wear a mask. So this guy goes into the Walmart, and I think it was in California, and the guy has a mask on that is actually, they use this for motocross to make sure you don't bust out all your teeth and bust your nose out. And so he wears this mask, and it's not stopping any of the spitlet or the, what do they call in that? Is it spitlet or?
Droplets,
droplets, projectiles. It's not stopping any of this. So the greatest weekend video that I saw was this guy going to the Walmart and nobody told him crap.
Oh, check this out.
So I purposely wore this mask today. You can see my mouth through it. You can see me talking, right? And it just goes to prove that it's not about safety. Because if I sneeze, if I cough, if I talk, if I spit, anything I do is going to come right through this mask, obviously, because this isn't a mask designed to be used in hospitals or anything. This is I think it's for dirt biking, so you don't bust up your face. But the point is nobody looked twice at this mask. No. Nobody gave me any shit, and nobody ever will give me any shit, because it's not about safety. What it is, it's just about compliance, right? I complied. I was a good little sheep. I had a covering on my face that doesn't protect anybody from anything, and not one person said a word. Not one store employee, not one other person in the store, not even a security guard that happens to be standing watching this particular Walmart. They all looked at it. They all looked at it like, huh, that's interesting. And not one person said a word. So 2 experiences today. Number 1, I went on to a public transportation and I asked them to arrest me and drag me off if they had to. I said, I'm willing to do that. They said, nah, it's okay. You don't need to wear a mask. Then I went into a private business where it's a mandate by some random person who wasn't elected and it wasn't a law. And I wore a mask. that is obviously not going to protect anybody from anything. If I got a virus, dude, it's coming right through this mask and right into you. Nobody cared. So 2 instances today, I totally debunked the whole point of wearing this damn mask, because it's not about safety. It's 100% about compliance. And if we all start doing this stuff and we all start pointing it out and we all start making videos, then they're going to knock it off. Because if we don't knock it off, if we don't get them to knock it off, then it's over for us. What's the next thing going to be? Oh, you can't fly in an airplane without taking a vaccine. You can't go to school without a vaccine, right? All of us have to do our part to stop this madness, okay?
No doubt. We have to stop the madness. And that proves the point that it's all about compliance. This weekend I was at a convenience store, and the lady at the convenience store, her mask looked like it was a diaper. I mean, it looked like she had pooped in her mask. I mean, it was bad. I'm just saying. It looked like a dirty diaper. It was terrible.
I was afraid how you meant that. It was like it was bulging, because it had
it was bad. I mean, there was crap all over it.
Okay,
it
gotcha.
was just bad.
Gotcha.
And I had to look at it, and I'm like,
there were all kinds of bacteria and viruses on the outside of the mask.
And then have we ever thought, why doesn't some of these stores have disposal sites for, that you dispose of the mask? Because once you take it off, if you got the virus, it's on your hands, right? And everything that you bought from the store is now also contaminated. So if we think about this rationally, none of this crap makes sense. And I have been a mask-hole from day one. That is the new term for people that will not wear a mask. You are a mask-hole. And I have gone as far as going in the Walmart, and they go, the governor has mandated the mask. We're asking that everybody wear a mask. And I go, thanks for asking. I just keep walking. And the trick of this is you have to walk in like you own the damn place. You got to walk in like your last name is Walton. Don't mess with me, because I'm a mask-hole.
Be in the swagger into Walmart.
You just walk in like you own the place. The wife always looks at me like, God, you're such an asshole.
She's just like, she's just like, I'm so embarrassed. Do I have to go into this guy? She's like, you know what? I'll go do the shopping. You stay in the car.
Unbelievable. Well, we have done a lot of that where she goes in and I just stay in the car. I stay in and I read my book, and most of the time we have our dog with us, so I would much rather stay in the car instead of dealing with people anyway. But I am a mask-hole, and if you're a mask-hole, we appreciate you guys so much, because it is about compliance. If it was really about a health issue, why didn't we start this in January? I've told a story on our radio show. January 11th, I was the first person in New Mexico that was tested for the coronavirus. The first person after I came back from the Philippines, China, and I was the first person tested. I had 2 bouts of pneumonia. God knows I could have had the virus. Don't know. Lawyer found dead in upstate New York. This story is really going to mean something, because first of all, we had a federal judge that was going to hear the Epstein case. They went to her house and they fatally shot her son, shot her husband. She escaped, and she's here in the Epstein case. Well, this afternoon, a lawyer was found dead in upstate New York, maybe linked to the New Jersey shooting at the judge's house. I'm just going to say it now. The swamp is deep. The swamp is really, really, really deep. And the FBI has identified Roy Den Holland as a primary suspect in that attack at the home. And then they find this lawyer dead. So the swamp is and there's one thing we learned from the assassination of JFK, and that's if you wait a while, all this stuff is going to be released. I found out that my hometown, Morgan City, Louisiana, was a hotbed for this because of the Dixie Mafia.
Because the mob, yeah.
Yeah, because of the Carlos Mosella and the Dixie Mafia. So if you wait long enough, we're going to peel this onion back, and we're going to discover what the hell is going on. So the Dixie Mafia was working with the CIA to kill the president because he was about to end the Vietnam War. If you don't believe me, pick up a book. It's amazing what you find nowadays.
There's lots of stories.
All right, here's a great story. about Mark Zuckerberg. Now, Mark Zuckerberg is an expert when it comes to the coronavirus. If you don't believe me, just ask him. There's one thing he's not really an expert about, being real hip. Here is the meme that was. So he owns like his own island in Hawaii. He goes out and does some surfing. And Mark Zuckerberg puts on so much sunscreen that he looks like the Joker from Batman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at, I mean, dude, that's
He's caking it on.
That's a lot of sunscreen.
You remember the Japanese movies back in the day where you had the what were those ladies called, the
Deja girls, or
Kokomo ladies, or
okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what he looks like. I bet his wife, he came home and she's like, I will never sleep with you. I'm done. I will never sleep with you. I better call the damn pool boy because I'm not sleeping with you. Look at you.
Well, he's not going to get any sun on that
Oh,
face.
no,
That's
hell
for damn
no.
sure.
Hell no.
SPF 1000, I think.
No, 1 million.
Yeah.
Representative Maxine Waters spotted pulling over to confront a police officer in Los Angeles who had stopped a African-American driver. So Maxine Waters, you know her. She's a representative from California. She's a big-time Democrat. She's a big-time liberal. And you know what? She has the right to go question the police based on, hey, they stopped a black man. So I wonder if she would give that same attention if they would have stopped a white man. Probably, I'm thinking not.
No, never.
No.
Not even for a second.
So Maxine Waters pulls over just to keep an eye on the police who were conducting a routine stop. Guy was speeding. It involved a black man in Los Angeles. So the California Democrat was driving to her home district, pulled over, and, started, she was keeping an eye on him. She was keeping an eye on him. And they nothing happened. But the point is why are you getting involved in a police matter, Maxine? Why would you even care? I mean, police are doing their job. Let them do their job. Now, we look at areas where they've had these riots and stuff. Crime is going up. Minneapolis, crime is going up like over 100%. Violent crime is going up over 100%. Let the police do their job. I'm going to tell you what. There's one thing that I know. Defunding the cops is not the answer. I would love to send a social worker out to a crime scene, to a murderer that just got finished murdering his whole family. I would love a social worker to go out there.
Well, see how well that's going to blow over.
So we are
I'm
losing.
sure they'll calm it down.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. We're losing police officers on a daily basis. Guys are just saying they're fed up, they're done, which is sad. Because if there's one thing we need in America is more police officers. Now, are there some bad apples? Yes, there are.
Do they need to be gone?
Yes.
Absolutely, right away.
And President Trump signed legislation that their record would follow them. Before now, what would happen was they would get in trouble, and then they would just move to another job. Thank God their records will follow them now. All right, you would think coronavirus is so bad that, an 80-year-old wouldn't be able to, fight past it. But here's a great story about legendary golfer Jack Nicklaus. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
Nicklaus. Not to confuse him with Jack Nicholson. But he revealed Sunday him and his wife both tested positive for the coronavirus back in March when the pandemic was kind of just starting to kick in. And he said, he's fine now. In fact, he's back playing golf. And I got a friend of mine in the Philippines, and he's got it. Him and his wife got it, and said it was much like the flu. Now, look, I understand people are dying. Most of those people have pre-existing conditions, underlying conditions, or they're very old.
But have we ever caused this kind of panic for people who die of the flu?
No.
I'm just asking.
No, of course
have
not.
we ever shut down entire businesses and government because people died of the flu? Now, the flu is extremely contagious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And for people who are immunocompromised, the flu can be deadly. If you've got COPD, if you've got respiratory issues, the flu can be deadly.
It can be deadly. Most definitely.
But we don't completely shut down the. Now, I'm not saying that this is as mild as the flu, or this can't be worse than the flu, and it can be. But I mean, so can bird flu, so can West Nile, so can how many other different pandemics that we've had.
Tuberculosis.
Sure, that we haven't shut the entire country down for.
Yep. Looks like a hiker was praised for remaining calm as a black bear approached her and sniffed her hair. Who the hell does this bear think he is? You think you're Joe Biden or what?
So we actually have video of this too.
Here's the encounter. Because you know somebody has a video. Oh, hell no.
So she just not to get too close to the so she let the bear get close enough so it could sniff her hair. Here we go again.
She just wanted the selfie with the bear. Oh, look, come smell me.
Oh yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Oh no. Sorry.
I gotta get out of here.
Oh, these people, I swear.
And this is why at the Grand Canyon we have like 35 deaths where people try to take a selfie and it goes wrong. Anyway, my first week living in Ruidoso, we had just moved to Ruidoso, and for those on the national, it's in the mountains. That's where Will was from, and I go to put out the garbage. I go to the dumpster, and there's a damn black bear. I get back to the house. The wife goes, "Did you get a picture of it?" Hell no!
I saw it. I hightailed it.
I am gone. I am out of there. Hey, no way I'm getting a
GTFO.
Yeah, I'm gone. I'm gone. So I took a lot of heat this morning on the morning show about my comments about the couple that are now wearing an ankle monitor. And they are wearing the ankle monitor. And the reason is that the wife tested positive for the coronavirus. And she would not sign the waiver saying that she would not, that, she's supposed to sign not a waiver, but a guarantee that you're going to stay home and you're not going to infect people. So she didn't sign that document. So what they did, they showed up and put ankle monitors on them. And that way they can track them. Look, if you are positive for the coronavirus or AIDS or whatever, you have a personal responsibility not to infect somebody. And even if you have a common STD and you're going to sleep with somebody, you got to let them know. I would think that's the right thing to do, right?
Well, sure it is. That's how many times have we had court cases where somebody intentionally infected or went out and knowingly, like Charlie Sheen, knowing they were positive for HIV and had sex with different
Charlie
people.
Sheen.
Oh, yeah, Charlie Sheen.
So he's got a defense. He was on a lot of cocaine back then.
Oh, so that's his defense. No, I'm sorry. I don't care if you're on cocaine. If you've got a disease and you're going to go and intentionally go out, and especially these people that, early on, there was the whole thing where people would spit in other people's face. And I've got friends who, some of the no-maskers would go and cough in their face, say, hey, I don't have anything. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that either. Don't wear your mask, but if you don't want to. But don't cough in someone's face.
I am a mask-hole, but I'm not going to cough in somebody's face. And if they ask me to leave the store, you know what? As I'm walking out, I'm talking. And hopefully somebody gets it on video, but I'm not coughing in anybody's face.
There again, you want to cause a scene just so you can go viral.
Yes, exactly. I've encouraged state police to come give me a ticket.
Please, he wants a ticket. And trust me, if you do, it's going to be all over the internet.
And there will be no judge in this county that makes me pay that ticket. Yeah. I feel very confident. So anyway, the Hardin County Sheriff showed up at her house. They 8 people, 5 different cars, and they're like, we're putting the monitoring devices on you. And the couple was ordered to wear the monitoring devices. And if they travel more than 200 feet from their home, law enforcement has the right to be notified, and they could be arrested for this.
Wow.
So I really don't, look, sign the waiver, say that you're going to be on a 14-day quarantine, get tested again. Once you're tested and you're cleared, you got to be tested twice to be cleared. Once you're cleared, do whatever the hell you want.
What do they do? What do they do if they have to go to the hospital? What do they do if they have to get groceries?
Somebody is going to have to deliver their groceries, and if not, call the sheriff's department. I'm sure they'll deliver them to you. 1 month after the state of California had a mask mandate, you think the coronavirus numbers have gone down?
1 month after the mask mandate.
1 month. The governor ordered that reopening schools must implement masks as well. And have you seen the way these kids wear these masks? Serious. It ain't going to work. Have you been at the grocery store or out somewhere and these kids? It's not going to work.
If they're wearing them at all.
It's just not going to work. So what do you think the numbers are? 1 month, because this is the do-all, fix-all. If you wear the mask, you're compliant, the numbers will go down.
We're going to flatten that curve.
We're going to flatten the curve. What do you think the numbers are?
They went up.
160%. The numbers went up 100.
Oh, but the mask is doing amazing.
It's amazing work. The mask went up. The numbers went up.
But
coronavirus cases.
But Kevin, think about how much worse it would have been if they didn't wear their mask.
Yeah.
Because those masks, they're keeping that virus from flowing out. Even that virus is microscopic and can go right through that mask like it's not even there.
I can't wait. You know what's crazy is that where we are today, I posted this up, and we live in a state where we have lots of Native Americans. I know people from the Mescalero tribe, the Navajos, the Laguna Acoma tribe. By the way, Laguna Acoma, some of the nicest people I ever met. And I asked this question about the Redskins. A lot of them were like, dude, that's my favorite team. No, it's not offensive. I'm not offended at all.
We're proud that the nation's capital is representing Native Americans.
Yes.
And has them as the mascot of the entire nation.
Unbelievable.
And the nation's football team.
And it was meant in a good way to reward Native Americans and put them on a pedestal. And the guy who designed the helmet actually was a Native American himself. His son has come out and said, no, it is not. It's not racist. It's not derogatory. It's not. Well, the Atlanta Braves have come out, and they do the same thing with the Florida Seminoles, the chop. Da, 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 da. Well, that's the Florida Seminoles. But the Braves do their chop. Looks like that's gone.
Oh.
It looks like
Are they going to be able to stay to be the Braves?
Maybe. Who knows? But the whole idea of doing the chop. Now, what makes the chop so offensive? Please break it down for me. It's a hand gesture.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what's so offensive, but it looks like that could be gone.
I mean, maybe if they were doing this, scalp.
I mean, I don't get it.
I don't know. But the whole thing is ridiculous. And I'm sorry, the world has gone overboard. We were already too politically correct already, and now we've taken it way off the deep end.
In a recent survey they did in Time magazine, they asked that question to Native Americans, 3,000 Native Americans, if they thought Redskins was derogatory, and like 60 to 70% said no.
Hey, I have some potato friends that are really mad that they're going to be renaming the Redskins because that was their favorite team.
I thought it was going to be the Foreskins.
Oh, that's...
No?
Yeah, no, I think that might be more offensive.
Wow.
But,
I got a friend of mine that wanted them to be called the Mexicans.
The Mexicans? The Washington Mexicans.
Yeah, the Washington Mexicans.
Well, give it a little time.
Yeah, give it just a little time. Looks like Lieutenant Governor of New Mexico wants Cobre High School. Their mascot is pretty much the same as the Cleveland Indians, Chief Wahoo. It's a cartoon character, Chief Wahoo. He is asking that Cobre High School change their mascot away from Chief Wahoo because it's so damn offensive.
Well, and there's lots of places in New Mexico. They've got one of the high schools in Las Cruces, one of the towns, is changing its name because of its ties to
the Conquistadors.
Conquistadors, yeah, and the Spanish slaughter of natives. So Onyate's gone, by the way.
All right. If somebody comes on my property, do I have the right to protect my property? I'll take it one step forward. In most states, you have the right to protect your property. Now, your car is an extension of your house. So if somebody is trying to get into your car, you have the right to protect yourself. So let's go back to St. Louis about 3 weeks ago when they were rioting and they broke down this couple's gate in a very affluent part of St. Louis. So they break down the gate. So they already are trespassing on these people's property. So they go and get guns. Supposedly, some of the peaceful, and I do mean peaceful protesters, they were just using that as a shortcut, okay?
Yeah, they were just trying to get to
understand you pay
the
your
mayor's
taxes.
house. They were trying to, or the governor's house, whatever it was.
I understand you pay your taxes. But, that gate is, gates aren't good. Walls aren't good. Gates aren't good. None of this is good. So the St. Louis couple, if you show the picture of them, the St. Louis couple, that was only, now look, I'll be the first to say, this woman needs to go to some gun safety classes. For a second there, I thought she was going to blow her husband's head off.
Yeah.
She needs some gun safety. The other thing she needs...
Plus her little limp wrist didn't get
is a bigger gun. What are you going to do with that?
Well, she plinked somebody if she could hit him.
But, the crazy part is that they don't have the right to protect themselves.
Well, and the guns have been confiscated.
The guns have been confiscated, and it looks like they are facing more charges. I want to know what charges.
Apparently, I saw him on Tucker Carlson. I saw the man. He was on Tucker, and he was saying something about the fact that they took the guns to find out if they were actually capable of doing bodily harm. I don't think that that's in question.
As a gun owner...
Why would you waste the time?
As a gun owner, I don't own a gun that won't fire.
That's the idea.
In fact, and I'll be perfectly honest, I always keep one ready to go. I ain't got time. Number one, with my afflicted hands, I ain't got time to rack one.
I did see that they, initially came out right away that they know that some of the protesters had guns, and actually they didn't. What it was a microphone.
Yeah, it was a microphone,
and it was pretty obvious for those of us who've done video. It was a microphone.
It was definitely a boom of a microphone.
Yeah, but
don't know if they had guns. We don't know the true story.
But
nobody knows the true story.
I don't give a damn.
Why aren't these people being arrested for trespassing?
I don't give a damn. They were on these people's property. They busted down their gate. Right then, that free peaceful protest stops. It stops becoming peaceful as soon as you enter my property illegally and bust down my gate.
I'm done.
Sorry.
I'm done.
They shouldn't have been sitting there videoing. Now, granted, I'm not sure I would have made the spectacle of myself that these folks did, but that was their choice. That's their freedom. That's their right.
So coming from West Monroe, Louisiana, and I lived in Arkansas for 1 year. And, yes, I got the hell out as quick as I could. No, I loved Arkansas. Very green and very plush. And West Monroe was right up the road. So I know the way the people of West Monroe act. You got Monroe, which is, and then you got West Monroe. West Monroe is more, that's where the guys from Duck Dynasty are from.
Oh, okay.
So it's more affluent. It's where the rich people are.
Was it more affluent? Okay, well, let me see. Were the guys from Duck Dynasty there beforehand, or they were now?
There, but they were there beforehand.
Wow, so they were rich before.
So a Louisiana man was asked to leave Walmart because he would not wear a mask, and as he's leaving, he's accused of hitting a police officer with his vehicle. 64-year-old Ricky Taylor evidently got really ticked off and began cursing, and you can't make me wear a blanking mask, blank, 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 and then got in his vehicle and evidently hit an officer.
On purpose?
Yes. By the way, Taylor said he could not wear a mask because of his medical condition and did not see the officer standing behind his car.
Well, okay. Well, so it wasn't totally...
He said he didn't do it on purpose, and he can't wear a mask because of his medical. And there are people that have asthma, and they shouldn't wear a mask.
Right.
Their breathing is, and I have the same thing because I have plaque on my lungs that when I put on a mask, it does hurt me.
Although I will say I have an O2 monitor, and I did an O2 sensor with my mask and without it, and there was just as much oxygen getting through as there was without. So if there's that much, then the virus is coming through too.
I put up a video. It only lasted about 5 minutes before Facebook put it down. This guy has a breathing apparatus that he uses to, it's an OSHA testing device to check carbon monoxide.
Yeah, now that's the difference.
Carbon monoxide, and the device went off after about 2 minutes with the mask on.
And that's where the rub is. That's where the rub is because you're still getting as much oxygen. The oxygen is not lessened, but you're also breathing in all the carbon monoxide you're breathing out. It's coming right back in.
Now, this is an OSHA device that they use while working in plants or underground and that type of stuff, and it sure the hell went off. All right, we hear about the Dixie Chicks changing their names. They are now called the Chicks.
The Chicks.
So at our radio station, I've taken the Chicks completely out of our playlist. We're a classic country station. The Chicks are gone. And I didn't take them out politically for them bashing George W. Bush.
I did. On the station at the time when I worked, I did.
I believe in freedom of speech, and I'm not a big fan of George W. Bush anyway. Well, he attacked the wrong damn country.
I wasn't a huge fan of Bush to begin with, but by the same standpoint and some of the things he did, but I liked him a lot better than the alternatives. But by the same standpoint, I'm not for anyone. If someone had gone overseas and badmouthed Obama in a foreign country,
and I get that.
I'd have the same reaction.
I get that.
I'd have the same reaction. You don't go and talk crap about our president in a foreign country.
Yeah, and I get that. But, I also believe in freedom of speech. And and when Obama was president, I can't say when we went to our house in the Philippines and I had a discussion with another American that I didn't say Obama sucked.
But if you're talking to a person and it's in private,
I might have done a Facebook Live.
Oh, okay, well, even still, getting on Facebook, everybody knows your opinions and how you are. But when you're going to get up and bash the country's president in front of a large audience in a foreign country,
they were in France, I think. It was somewhere in Europe. So anyway, the Dixie Chicks have changed their name.
Just the Chicks.
Just the Chicks. Railroad, Confederate Railroad, they haven't changed their name.
No.
Because Railroad, what kind of name of that it would be for a band?
But there's been a lot of backlash.
There's been a lot of backlash.
This started way before. I remember Confederate Railroad. There were some friends of ours that were trying to get them in a concert.
Oh yeah.
My buddy Curtis McKinney. What's up? Hey, don't forget to check out Cranked Up Live, their podcast that they do. You can check that out on YouTube as well. But Curtis was going to have Confederate Railroad down at one point.
Oh, yeah.
And we were excited to have them. And they were excited to be here. But then, of course, all the Corona stuff.
It was bad. But Winn-Dixie. Now, Winn-Dixie is predominantly a supermarket in the South. So you didn't get to experience Winn-Dixie.
Never have.
So have you ever heard of Winn-Dixie? They have a slogan about their meat. Now, this is true. I'm not making this. I swear.
You can't beat our meat?
Yeah, exactly. You can beat our prices, but you can't beat our meat. And I was like, I don't know about that. What kind of marketing guy came up with that?
Well, it's definitely memorable.
It definitely is. But Winn-Dixie has said they're not going to require a mask. So look, Target, Walmart, Sam's, Walgreens, CVS Drugs, the list goes on and on. HEB out of Texas. They all came out and said you got to have a mask on. And so if you take a pair of women's underwear and put it on, that is a mask.
And there's people that do it.
It smells a little fishy to me, but that's a totally different subject. But, facing a lot of backlash, Winn-Dixie says, we don't care. Don't wear a mask. Now, here's the deal. If you don't feel comfortable not wearing a mask, you could still wear a mask. It's just not required. And, same thing about restaurants. If you don't feel comfortable with indoor dining, don't go to indoor dining. It's very simple. You know the difference between conservatives and liberals? If conservatives see stuff, okay. I mean, there's whatever. To me, if I see something I don't like, you know what I do? I just don't go. If I don't feel safe with indoor dining, I just don't go.
There you go.
If a restaurant has a poor report card from, the health inspector, you know what I do? I probably won't go.
Well, if they got a big red tag, red tag. I'm going to turn
I'm
around
not
and go
going to
somewhere
go.
else. Sorry.
I'm not going to go. So it's crazy. We put ourselves in a bubble a lot of times, and we think a certain way about things. And we do this often because we surround ourselves with people that think like us. Unfortunately, once you get outside of the bubble, things kind of change a little bit. I always hear, don't worry about it, Trump is going to win big time in 2020. I got to say, I have my doubts. And people look at me like, well, you're not conservative enough then.
Yeah.
If you believe he's not going to win, no, I'm just a realist. And I have people that are liberals, like my brother Dean, who lives in San Francisco.
What's up, Dean?
That I get that, yeah, it's not good. It's not good. And Joe Biden is probably one of the weakest candidates ever. He really is. The dude doesn't know what day it is.
Well, and there again, I agree from the standpoint. I'm nervous. I'm optimistic from that because I truly do believe that Trump is the best thing for the country. But by the same standpoint, you see all this rhetoric and you see all these people who are blindly following the mainstream media and believe everything that they say, everything that they push, every agenda that they say. I mean, Black Lives Matter wouldn't have the traction it does if there were more people with common sense. And thank God for people like Terry Crews.
Right.
Thank God for all of these people like Candace Owens who are actually out there and actually fighting for some kind of semblance of common sense.
And the Democratic Party back in 2016 came out and said that Black Lives Matter was actually a radical Marxist group. Now I can't even turn on my iPad and go to my favorite video game that I play without seeing a message about Black Lives Matter. That's how mainstream they have become. And my personal view is that they are just like the KKK. You can agree to disagree with me on this, but they are just like the KKK. And point being, why are we dividing? We fought so hard. Dr. Martin Luther King fought so hard to end segregation. Why are you segregating? And I've said this all along, predominantly black universities. Why do we even have them? You fought so hard to end segregation. NAACP, why would you want to separate yourself? And the whole name of the NAACP is nobody wants to be called colored nowadays, but it's in the damn name.
It's there again, it's a throwback to a different time. And something else that was, important in the time. Do I think the NAACP had its time and had its moment? It did, but in this day and age, I think honestly, and the more we go this way, and this is where Terry Crews was right on the money.
Yeah, he said that Black Lives Matter is pretty much the same as the KKK among black folks.
If we keep going the way we're going, then this, if you're trying to end white supremacy without white people, you get to a place where it's black supremacy, and that's what Terry Crews said, and that's what he's been crucified for.
Yeah, and here's the other deal, is that could we have a predominantly white university?
No.
Oh, we can't do that.
Well, they say we already do. They say that Harvard and this or that and
really?
All these other places.
Because Obama graduated from Harvard.
Oh, I know. And it doesn't make any sense, but that's what they say. They say that it's easier for white affluent, there again, do I take the fact that a lot of these black families are in lower income neighborhoods and that some of them don't have the same resources that others do? Absolutely.
Well, and part of the problem is you gave up on the family.
Yeah.
Back in the 1960s, before, really welfare reform hit us, 80% of the African-American families had a mom and a dad in the family.
It's hard enough to do it it's hard enough to do it on a single income if you have a single
Oh,
parent when they're actually working. Now, if you take that person and you put them on welfare and they're trying to make it, it's next to impossible. That's why, we're talking about the family. Without
And
a
you know what?
two-income family and without the support of two human beings raising these kids, it's again and again and again. And don't get me wrong, I lost my father at an early age,
Right.
and I was raised by my mother, and she did a fantastic job. But I always had that support, and not everybody does. And, of course, there was a lot of times I was home alone.
Yeah. And the other thing is, and President Obama said it, only one thing that I probably agree, that if you're a single child without a dad to influence you, you have a 20% chance, better chance, 20% better chance of being incarcerated. Wow.
Well, and in so many communities where you're in a rough neighborhood anyway, and the only male figures are these gang leaders or
Right.
these criminal organizations that are gonna that are all willing to scoop you up and show you some love and show you some attention and show you some male bonding as they put the gun in your hand and encourage you to go kill some other folks.
Yep, no doubt. ABC News Washington Post poll shows that Donald Trump is behind Joe Biden. Other polls show him on top, but let's remember that not one poll did Donald J. Trump lead in when he was facing Hillary Clinton and ended up winning by double digits. And I know I'm going to hear from the liberals, well, you didn't win the popular vote. That's not the way you become president.
No, it never has been. And if it had been reversed and Hillary had won the same way, there would be no discussion. There would be no crying. There would be nothing else. It would just be over, just like it was.
It's a 15-point lead over Trump. Biden leads Trump 15 points nationally. Hillary led by 15 points. So I'm not really worried about that. But once we get outside of our own little bubble, we start meeting people, and it doesn't take long. I'll be in Albuquerque coming up on Thursday. Believe me, I will see these people. And yeah, I hate to say it, but the more people go to college, the dumber they get.
It's sad because of the agendas that the colleges are pushing, and they just keep on, ramrodding this stuff, and they're doing it not even for the colleges. Unfortunately, they're even starting it as in grade school and in high school, where these, there's a lot of liberal agenda in the curriculum from early on.
Yep. Looks like Democrats, if the Democrats win Texas, Ted Cruz says it's over. For a country? Is it over for Texas? Or it's over? I think where goes Texas, goes the country. And Texas is already pretty much a purple.
It's getting there. I mean, between Austin and Houston.
Well, not only Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, Laredo. The big hot spots for the liberals. And we do know the closer they get to Laredo, voter fraud is ramping up. That's something we really have to worry about this election cycle with more mail-in ballots going in. And why are we going to have all these mail-in ballots? Well, you know the answer to that. Coronavirus. So
they're pushing more and more. I mean, there's all these people say, okay, no, it's a conspiracy. You can't, the coronavirus is real. There's no conspiracy that people aren't trying to keep Donald Trump, that it's all over the world. I agree. I agree that the virus is all over the world. Our reaction to the virus. You know why other countries are opening up? You know why their numbers are doing what they're doing? Because they're actually reporting the actual numbers.
Well, and I've said this a million times, and I'll say it again. Once this is finally over and done with, and we go back and review these numbers, I think the numbers are going to go down substantially. Number one, we've had so many false positive tests. We know this. We had in Snyder, Texas, there was like 76 false positive tests at a nursing home. We know that there are people that are dying, and they say they died of coronavirus. As it turns out, a lady from Carlsbad, New Mexico, died. She had been on hospice care. She had stage 4 lung cancer, by God. What do they list her death as? Coronavirus. So I think we're going to learn more and more of these cases that people didn't actually die of coronavirus. They actually died from what they died of.
It was the the incentivation, and I can't even say the right word. It was the incentives that the hospitals were given with the money.
It's been incentivized.
Yeah, with the money. There you go.
It's been incentivized that the hospitals, there are going to be many hospitals that actually go broke following this whole coronavirus deal, because instead of finding one hospital, now Texas is doing a bunch of that. I got a buddy of mine that's down in McAllen, Texas. He is actually a anesthesiologist. Now, out of all surgeons, doctors, who do you think makes the most money?
Probably the
anesthesiologist makes the most money, more so than surgeons. I didn't know that. But his job right now is treating coronavirus patients. He will put in ventilators. He'll do whatever he needs to do. So he's out of his normal general practice of anesthesia, pain management, that type of stuff, and you know, doing that job. And he writes in details about how they're taking care of people and that it's not pretty and the whole work. So look, I'm not saying people aren't getting sick, but Texas has done theirs a little different. They built hospitals, are taking over hospitals for coronavirus patients. In New Mexico, we're actually importing patients from Arizona. Does that make any sense? We're importing patients from Arizona and at the same time saying our hospital beds are filled. I passed by a hospital in Roswell, New Mexico the other day, and it looked like it had already shut down.
There's that, and not only that, but all the other departments, because of coronavirus, they were shutting them down.
X-ray departments.
So they laid all these other folks off with the hospital. So when we do have an actual issue or an actual emergency or need something, you have to schedule extra time or make extra time for these people to come in and bring them all back because nobody, you know, they brought everybody down to a skeleton staff.
Yeah.
And then they've got these other hospitals we're bringing in patients, and then when we bring them in, those numbers get added to New Mexico's numbers. Yeah. Not only so that New Mexico can get more money, so that the governor can say, "Hey, look, we need more funding," but also so that she can continue to say, "Oh, you need to wear masks because our numbers are going up," not because people are infecting more people, but because we're bringing more people who are infected into the state.
And by the way, we've had a number of people, they say, that are coming across the border from Texas to get the coronavirus testing because ours is so much easier to get because we have a Democratic governor, so we're ramping up the testing to pitch up those numbers so we can continue on with the coronavirus pandemic delusion until the election, which is only about, we're 102 days away. So we're not that far away. So we got Texans coming here, and if they test positive for the coronavirus, their numbers fall on us, even though they came over from Texas. Now, no, supposedly Texas is having the same problem with people crossing the border and coming over to Texas to get the virus, to get the test for the virus, and then if they're sick, they get to stay in Texas. Who's paying for that? Well, the great people of Texas.
Yeah,
that's the way that works.
Which is not okay either. So I mean, there again, the whole thing is messed up, and nowhere else, and no other time in history have you ever quarantined the healthy. Never. Ever.
So I read a report today, supposedly, and I don't have the story right in front of me, but Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity are being brought up on sexual harassment charges. Now, I want you to think about this. Fox News has changed a lot. I mean, from the beginning days, Fox News is now owned by a subsidiary of Disney, and they are going more middle of the road. They are not even what they used to be. But they got rid of Bill O'Reilly. First of all, they got rid of Rupert Murdoch. Then they got rid of, he died.
Yeah.
I mean, they got rid of him, but yeah. I mean, he died. And then they got rid of the CEO. I don't even remember his name because of sexual harassment. He's done. Then they got rid of Bill O'Reilly for sexual harassment. Now they're trying to bring down Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity. Yeah, I'm not big fans of Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson, but it seems a little suspicious.
That all of a sudden their top two conservative talk show hosts are being targeted?
Yeah.
Nah, probably fine. So, but here's the thing. So Disney, not the network. So Fox, the movie part of Fox
Right.
was bought by Disney. The TV part of it was actually bought by someone else and went over and was taken over by the kids, by the new generation, and they're liberal, and that's why Fox is turning so liberal.
Ah.
So the new generation of Fox executives are way more liberal, and if you've watched it lately, you notice that's changing.
Just in a second. And every time I see Donna, what's her name, Frizzell or whatever, she was the lead person for the Democratic Party. I'm like, what the hell is she doing on there?
They've definitely changed it. It's definitely moved away from the fair and balanced to more of what we see on CNN.
And what's the two African American ladies, Sparkle and Spice? No, that's strippers. No, it's not them. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
I think I do.
Anyway, they're gone. They're off of Fox now. Something they said they thought was derogatory, and so they're off. They're off. And that's one of the reasons me and Will are going over to the podcast, because nobody can kick us off. Sometimes I feel that eventually we're going to get kicked off the radio for something that we pissed somebody off.
There's a good chance.
So, and 1 week we'll have a show where we'll do nothing but shots in here and get highly inebriated and do, like, drunk history or something.
I can't wait. That ought to be fun.
I think that ought to be.
It'll only take me one shot, and I'll be under the table.
Yeah,
now.
I'm not a big shot drinker, but who knows? Maybe we'll see where we can go with that. Next week we'll see if we can have a special guest on and get a perspective on something that we don't we can't bring to the table. Don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. And me and Will are working on our retirement and trying to monetize the YouTube channel. So maybe we will get paid.
Someday, maybe. It's going to take a lot of likes and a lot of viral. So, but if you can, Two Bald Guys on the Right on YouTube. Of course, we're streaming live on B's Facebook page at the moment, but we're going to be putting this video up on YouTube. So Two Bald Guys on the Right. Please subscribe and like us on YouTube. And, of course, we're going to have another Facebook page just for this show.
We'll have it, get it off my page because I got way too many haters.
We've been teasing this thing way long enough. We wanted to make sure and get it up and get it going. So we just decided to kind of go off a little half-cocked, if you will.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the deal. As we approach 102 days before the election, at some point, you can count on it. Just like today, Joe Biden goes to this Muslim community, and he talks about, that was the first story we talked about, Joe Biden actually says, we need to teach more about the Muslim faith in our schools. Okay. Can we teach about the Bible in our schools, Joe? Can we do that? If we can do that, I'm sure we can squeeze in, a special day for Ramadan at a school or something.
For the one or maybe 2/10 of a kid that'll need.
Yeah, I mean, the Muslim population is not there yet, but it is growing every single day.
Sure.
So
don't get me wrong, we're not against any religion whatsoever.
No. But fair
is
fair.
But by the same standpoint, we're going to take Christianity out of the school, but it's okay. And it's just I'm tired of the double standard.
I'm sick
I'm
and
tired of the hypocrisy.
I said this 5 years ago when it was the beginning of all this BS, that Michigan actually built feet washing facilities for the Muslim students at the University of Michigan. And also, put out prayer rugs and did everything. It starts to feel like you guys are pandering to just a small group of people and the hell with everybody else.
Typically, that's what's happening.
But let me tell you something good about my God, and I'll leave you with this thought. I don't need anything because right now I can just simply say a prayer. That's it. And I understand many religions are different, but I'm just talking about my God. And you know what? If we give special privileges to one group, one religious sect, we need to do it for all. And when we open up Pandora's box, there'll be devil worshipers and all kind of other stuff.
I was going to say next we're going to have sacrament, places to sacrifice goats and goat's blood and things like that.
when I lived in Arkansas for that 1 year, the 10 Commandments, and you know what the 10 Commandments are, it doesn't matter what religion you are, the 10 Commandments mean for something. I will not, screw my neighbor's, wife. I will not steal. I only borrowed his chainsaw. I didn't steal it. I plan on returning it.
Someday.
I mean, but when
Maybe.
you go through that list, it all means something. It's all good stuff to live by. I mean, if you take out the religious stuff, it really doesn't matter. It's still things to live by.
They're all great rules for life.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're an atheist and don't believe in God. You still don't want to be banging the neighbor's wife.
Why is that one the one you decided to focus on?
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah. I hope you're not looking at me. Thanks a lot.
No, I'm just saying that you don't have a wife. So
no, I know, but
I would be hell out
I
of luck.
thought you were basically insinuating I was banging the neighbor's wife. I was like, hey neighbor, I don't even know who you are. Never met your wife. Sorry.
But the thing about it is crazy that the 10 Commandments are there. Anyway, a guy ran over the 10 Commandments with his vehicle. This is the second time he did it in Oklahoma. Then he drove to Arkansas and did it. He had a little problem. Maybe he was a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But the point is, they took that monument and took it off of the state land and put it on private land right close to the Capitol building because, guess what? The devil worshippers wanted their statue.
Yeah.
And the child pedophiles wanted theirs too.
No.
And so once you invoke stuff like that on separation of church and state, it's going to bring out all the ugliness. It really will. So the best thing to do is have a statue on privately owned land. Get some Christian organization to buy the land and build a monument. So even though the 10 Commandments are good things to live by,
They are.
don't bang the neighbor's wife.
I'm sticking clear. I'm staying clear. Don't worry.
So don't steal stuff. Just borrow it and forget to return it. That's the way that works. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can't look, if you're on Facebook, you can't just like it. You got to go and subscribe it on YouTube.
On the YouTube.
Everybody, now you're sounding old. The YouTube.
The YouTube.
The YouTube. The Facebook.
Make sure to go to the bald guys.
The Walmart.
The bald guys on the right.
So, two bald guys on the right.
Two bald guys on the right.
Two bald guys on the right.
I messed up the title first day.
So,
two bald guys.
You guys have a great night, and we'll be back next week to talk about what's going on around the world and around that. We will touch on Texas and New Mexico somewhat, but we'll also talk about what's going on. And by the way, if you want to send content, please do. Send it to our Facebook page that will be up tomorrow.
And we're going to make it so that we can respond to you guys and talk to you guys on some of the stuff. Once we go live on YouTube and live on Facebook,
yes,
we can actually talk and converse via our social media. So make sure and hit us up there too. But yeah, please, two bald guys on the right. Kevin Bonner, Will Rooney, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight.
You guys have a good one. God bless.